Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm going to have to carry this interview a little bit more with my partner bailing on a game week. Not even the bye week, game week.
Where'd he go? What's going on?
He went to Vegas. He he had Vegas, he had Mexico, or he had Austin. Which one of those three would you pick?
I'm a huge fan of Austin, so I'd go to Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Austin. Yeah.
Welcome.
Keep them weird.
RJ. I mean, it's a no-brainer where he went. So
that is a no-brainer. And after McCarthy's interview, Bobby, the OJ picture test came to fruition in Vegas last night. I'll explain that in a second. But Coach, let's talk about what's coming up this week. Are the Bears a similar prep for the Eagles offensively because of all the running that they can do and Hurts compared to Fields?
Definitely, I think that's an excellent comparable. I can see you've been studying up this week. You're off to a great start. But I think clearly, when you have the ability to run your quarterback as a primary ball carrier, it's a whole different stress that's put on your defense. So, and they definitely have that with Justin Fields. What
does Jonathan Hankins add to y'all's defense?
Well, excellent run stopper. Just really a very good football player, experienced player. I've always liked Jonathan's game. Going back to his days in New York at the Giants, and he's got to play in a different defense out there with the Raiders, and I think he brings some diversity and an excellent skill set, and another good veteran leader.
Do you think you'll be able to work him into the rotation on Sunday? How do you see that possibly going?
Well, the way we've done it this week, and this is a great situation to be in, is you have players in a number of positions that are competing to be up. So, and that's definitely one of the positions, the defensive tackles. We got a couple guys that are battling to be up, and we'll take it all the way through Saturday, and we'll make that call. But this is. You look at our numbers on defense. We have a very, very healthy, competitive situation over there.
Mike McCarthy here on the Diamond Factory Hotline, 105.3 The Fan. Coach, we always talk about trends with you, what's going on in the sport. Is the running quarterback kind of making another jump up here? They had 12 design runs against New England. Just talk about that in terms of the way the league is going with Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. Is that kind of a resurgence here with the running QB?
Oh no, clearly, without a doubt. I think these are dynamic players that I think you're seeing more and more generational players come out of college. In the college game is, I think, probably as strong as far schematically implementation into the pro game than I recall in the last 30 years. So I think this is clearly a move for some teams, and I think just like anything, when you sit down in the player acquisition conversations, every coach has an idea what he wants his team to look like, but this gives you another avenue to go as far as how you want to play on offense, and I think it's healthy for our league, and it just obviously makes it more competitive.
Us media people love to say, "Well, are they gonna implement the spy? Are they just gonna play Mike as a spy on the running quarterback?" Can you actually just break down the role and responsibilities of what a spy does, Coach? Is he sitting there playing center field at linebacker and just responsible for the quarterback movement and just shadowing him? Can you just break that down, what the spy actually does?
Well, I mean, when you look at the history of the spy, adjustment or assignment, it really applies to quarterbacks in the past that were, very good as far as dropping back and then taking off, because it's it was a pass first, run second, so you always had to have, obviously when you have pass rush, it's a different attacking mode from the defensive front onto the offense. And so, but there is an ability for a gap to open up, and which is a great opportunity for a running quarterback to take advantage of. I mean, this is different. You need more than the spy assignment or technique to play, Justin Fields and these super athletic quarterbacks in the league right now, because they're a threat on first and second down, just to take the snap and run a quarterback power or a quarterback sweep or quarterback misdirections, and then you got the run pass options. So you got a whole different level of scheme that you have to adhere to. So the spy part of it's not going to get it done. You have to activate all 11 players on defense to accomplish that.
Great explanation. You've done your homework as well. Well done. Mike McCarthy every Friday here on Sean and RJ 105.3 The Fan. Your attire got a lot of attention yesterday. Were you getting asked about your bucket hat yesterday? Why was that such a story on Twitter?
Well, first off, it must have been a very slow day for a bucket hat.
Even we weren't asked you about that.
Media topic. My goodness. Just being honest, I'm Irish and I love the sun here, but it doesn't love me. So I just have to. The reality is I should be wearing a bucket hat the last 20 years. So better late than never.
And he's still disappointing us, Bobby. If you're another bearded individual, he's still going unshaven. I still think it's the winning streak and the way things are going. I saw it yesterday under the bucket hat, still unshaven under there. Coach,
the reality is my mother's coming to town tonight, so I'll definitely be clean shaved. So
excellent, fantastic. My parents are coming next weekend, so we can get get together or not. All right, Coach. A lot of fans are looking for more. You're getting trades in the NFC East with the Eagles and the Giants, and some are saying the Cowboys need to go get a receiver. We got the defense set. Let's put this offense over the top. How have you viewed the receiver room so far in terms of getting what you want out of it this season?
I like the balance we have. I think CD has jumped up and taken the reins as the number one guy in there, and I think he's off to an excellent year. I really like what Noah's given us, and especially just his versatility, and he does so much of the heavy lifting for us on first and second down. Has been productive with his opportunities in the pass game, and he's one of our primary players on special teams, and then I like our young guys. I like the young way they're developing. It's great to have Michael Gallup back, and I just think Michael needs more and more opportunities, and I think he's kind of going through the course that you go through after a major joint injury, and but he looks great, and we just got to keep find a way to give those guys some opportunities.
How does it really work with a head coach's input, like during the trade deadline? First off, how much has the trade deadline changed? We used to talk 5-10 years ago. You don't make trades in the NFL in terms of getting caught up schematically. Has that changed drastically, and why?
I'm trying to follow. What do you mean change up schematically?
People used to say, you don't get a lot of trades in the NFL like during the deadline because someone's got to come in and learn a brand new system, or if you're running a 4-3 and this new team is a 3-4 or a backup quarterback, or it's too much to learn in the middle of the season. A shortened way to say it versus that dumb explanation is it feels like there's more trades happening today than 10 years ago. Do you see that?
Yeah, I think the reality of it is, the player fitting this scheme, and that's really, that's part of the conversation. But I think it's at the end of the day, it comes down to value and what you want to give up. It's like a business transaction. Frankly, I mean, you got to be willing to pay for something that you want. It's and how much do you want to pay for that? And I think it really just comes down to that at the end of the day, and obviously the position of your team. I think it gives you maybe a little more energy and to be more aggressive. I think that's human nature, but at the end of the day, I think it really comes down to value.
What input do you have in terms of being able to chime in on these players throughout the league? You're studying the Cowboys, you're game planning. So when they come to you and say, what do you think about Hankins? Do you get like a film package put together that you evaluate? How does that work in your head coaching history?
It's completely different here than my last job. But the way it works here is, I take what I call a lap. I always, after team meeting, go to the offensive meeting, then quarterback meeting. But then at some point, I have to go do the press conference. So either on the way over or the way back. It just depends on everything else that's going on. But I stop in Will McClay's office at least once a day, sometimes 3 times a day. And Will's always he's always working. The process of evaluation of players. So I mean, we've been watching Jonathan for weeks on tape. So once it gets to a point where we think there may be an opportunity, there's a cut up that our personnel guys, they do a great job in this area of always evaluating, and it's then we'll bring the position coach in, or the coordinator, if we think it's a realistic opportunity, just to get everybody's opinion.
Coach Zeke is obviously a warrior. I love his quote about being soft when asked about injuries the other day. Do you think last year was any type of learning lesson? A lot of people said, he doesn't look the same in the second half. Respect to him for going out there, but sit him down for a little bit and let him recover. How does that play into this decision whatsoever in terms of maybe giving him a week off before the bye?
I think that's an excellent question. I think you really, when you look at injuries and they're specific to the individual, and we all know that Zeke, he started bouncing around yesterday, and everybody's like, slow down. So I mean, because he's really making a lot of progress, but I think it just speaks to him as an individual. But this injury this year is different than the one last year. So I think with these injuries, we got an excellent return to play process with Britt Brown, and you just the relationship that he has with the player, and I just frankly, you just let those guys get to work, and when they feel like they're hit the return to play threshold, and then we activate them, and it's I just really trust the process to answer your question. So, but every injury is different, and I think you would expect that from Zeke, just because the way he goes about it. I mean, he's a tremendous teammate. He doesn't miss anything. I mean, I'm talking about all the way back for the off season. So I mean, he is definitely a warrior.
How did Dak look in practice for a second week compared to that first week of trying to shake off the rust against the Lions?
Well, I thought it looked really good. I thought he had a good Thursday practice last week. I think this week getting the full load on Wednesday, definitely it helps any quarterback. Just the ability to get out there and have full speed drills with the pass rush around you, and the 2-minute drill yesterday was really good. So I like the way that way it ended. It came down to the last play. I think that's always good for both sides of the ball, and the 2-minute drill comes down to the last play on the clock, and so I think he's having a good week so far. Any
concern, Coach, for Micah and Sam Williams, who were added to that injury report late in the week?
No, I don't have high concern for Micah. I just want to see Sam practice on Saturday, so that'll be the final determination for Sam.
All right, last one for you. I got a surprise audio clip from Luke Getsy, offensive coordinator for the Bears, who was asked about his relationship with you by the Chicago media.
He's one of the most influential people in my life, there's no question. Never had really a desire ever to be a head coach in my life until I got to sit in his team meetings and look at the way that he approached the team, talked to the team, the way he was able to be himself, be humble.
Look at you, Coach. What a nice thing to say.
He's a fine young man. I'm very proud of him. But obviously he's on the wrong sideline this week.
Coach, best of luck as always. Have fun with the parents coming into town, and we'll talk next week. Unless you bail like RJ and go to Austin.
We'll be good.
Thanks, Coach.
Have a great week. Thanks.